Our panel, Republican strategist Eric Halaby and David Carlucci, former Democratic state senator from New York. Good to have you both here. We want to talk about Spirit Airlines right off the bat. Eric, why don't we start with you on this? The transportation secretary and other Republicans, they are trying to pin the blame on this on the Biden administration and Democrats. Some of them are pointing to a tweet from 2024 about the failed merger between Spirit and JetBlue. We see this from Senator Elizabeth Warren. They say this is proof of their gloating. Now, Warren today saying spiking fuel prices are to blame for this shutdown and that the merger was stopped after a judge ruled it was illegal. Is there any political blame to the shutdown here? What's your perspective?
Yeah, I think the political blame does go back many years, partly because the merger could have really streamlined overhead, because when you have airlines that have management, duplicate management, you can streamline costs. The challenge was some of these routes were unable to be fulfilled by anybody else except for Spirit, and there was no guarantee JetBlue was going to keep them going for any length of time. And look, when it comes to the oil costs and the fuel and the energy costs, every airline has the ability, like Southwest did many years ago, to buy options on the market, which means they buy options years in advance, years, not months, years in advance at a lower price. So Spirit does have an inventory of options, which allows it to buy oil at a lower price, just like every other airline did. Southwest proved that years ago. That's how they were able to stay in business through the '08 crash. And we saw this happen again with other airlines. I don't know why Spirit didn't continue to move through that, or what they're going to do with their options inventory.
David, is this the Biden administration's fault?
Well, absolutely not. Look, if we go back to this merger, this was decided by a judge, not by the Biden administration. They were upholding the law of preventing monopolies. So that's pretty simple. The sad part here is that we have the president and the secretary of transportation not working to help stranded passengers or figure out exactly what went wrong, but instead try to find out who they could blame, when the fact is that the CEO of Spirit was very clear and said, look, this war in Iran that has doubled fuel costs, at least, has been the major contributing factor to us closing. And the fact that they want to deny that and say that that's not true, the CEO doesn't know what he's talking about, in fact, it was something that happened years ago, is just absurd. And it's sad. And this is what we get from this White House, not trying to solve problems, but trying to point fingers. That is ridiculous. The president is in charge. He sits in the White House, and all he can do is pass blame. The American people realize this. They see through that, and they're upset.
So, Eric, I want to move to a new topic here with the time that we have. The Supreme Court just overturned Louisiana's congressional map, saying that one of its districts relied too heavily on race. The state has delayed its primaries even after some ballots were already mailed. What does this chaos mean for voters in Louisiana, and could this signal bigger election disruptions nationwide?
Well, my barometer for measuring racism and race favoritism is by just switching out black from white, white from black, Hispanic, Asian. Just switch out the terms, and you can decide whether or not this is a racist idea. Imagine for a minute if you went through all of Mississippi and said we're only going to have white districts, or if you went through California and you said you're only going to have white districts. What if you just had American districts? What if you just had the interest of various people, east side of the river, west side of the river, north, south? What if you just measured it that way? To really carve out a district specifically to get an additional black district, as if all blacks vote the same, as if anybody votes the same. That's really a left-wing talking point. They always think if you're black, you should vote. Joe Biden said it best: if you don't vote for me, you ain't black.
Okay, David, what is your perspective here, and how will this ruling embolden Republicans to continue their redistricting fights as well?
Yeah, this is just really sad. It's a very sad situation here. This is not about drawing districts to best represent the people. The Supreme Court has been very clear that this is about drawing partisan districts, and state legislatures have that prerogative and that right. And that's something that we should change as Americans. And we should demand that the White House, instead of asking for mid-district or mid-cycle redistricting, ask for independent redistricting, like many democratically led states have done. But now it's a race to the bottom because the president has asked these states to draw hyperpartisan lines which they're legally allowed to do, but it's ethically wrong to do. We should demand more from our politicians and say, yes, redistricting has happened since 1790. We know it's a part of the Constitution. That doesn't make it right, and we should demand independent redistricting. This president has a vice grip on the GOP. He has political capital to spend. And instead of going further into a partisan war, we should have independent redistricting. Use your political capital, like many Democrats have done in the past, and demand
Natasha,
independent redistricting
David knows it very well.
so that we can have fair seats.
You know it very well, David. 38% of Californians vote for Republican, and the Democrat gerrymandering has only 9% of the seats in the state house.
Hello. California actually pushed for independent redistricting. 9. That's why we have those Republican seats. In states like Louisiana, look what they're doing.
9 percentage. It's nothing. 38%. The Democrats have controlled the state of California for 18 years.
We actually have independent redistricting in these states. The only reason why that was clawed back was because of the hyperpartisanship from Donald Trump, that they're saying we're not going to unilaterally disarm. Where have we seen Republicans lead with independent redistricting?
So before Donald Trump was ever on the scene, for 18 years, before Donald Trump was ever on the scene and able to be blamed by the Democrats for the weather, for the cost of goods, everything.
For doing
now
exactly
all of a sudden,
what he did.
9%. 9%. I mean, do you not understand?
Yeah, before
38% of Californians have zero vote.
Hyperpartisanship redistricting. We actually had independent redistricting, like we do in New York. We passed a constitutional amendment that now people want to undo because of this hyper-partisanship, this partisan grab that we've seen from the president. He should lead by example. He should do things that actually California.
Gentlemen, we are regrettably out of time, but Eric Halaby, David Carlucci, appreciate the perspectives both of you bring to bear tonight. Thank you. All right, still ahead, a stunner at the Kentucky Derby shortly before we came on the air tonight. A 23-1 long shot coming from dead last to win it all, making history. The first woman ever to train a Derby winner in one of the biggest upsets in years. How an underdog run and a barrier-breaking victory just changed the sport forever.